Hey, everybody, your man JJ here at Turner Field as your Atlanta Braves take on the New York Mets in Game 3 of a 4-game series. Now, remember, tonight is going to be good, and we need all your energy tonight. It's Braves, Mets, right here on Peachtree TV. The Braves play here. Yeah, baby.
A beautiful Wednesday evening in Atlanta, Georgia, as we turn the calendar page to September, and the Braves have 30 games left. Tonight, they face the New York Mets, looking for their third straight against this club and their fifth straight overall. Welcome back to Braves Baseball here on Peachtree TV, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson. Tommy Hanson last won on July the 3rd. He's started 10 games since then. The Braves have given him 14 runs when he's been in the game. They need some offense when Tommy's on the mound, and it appears the bats have turned the corner, Jeff Simpson.
They certainly have, Ernie. If you go back to the game, including the last game in Colorado where the Braves got beat 12-10, their offense has been on fire. 4 wins over that stretch and 48 runs in those 6 games with 10 homers. When you look at the opponents, the 6 home runs in those 6 games, 4 came in one game, and that was by the Florida Marlins. And, oh, by the way, that was against Tommy Hanson, so he'll need to cut down on the long balls tonight.
You know, it is September 1st. The rosters can expand, and the Braves, among the guys they've added to their roster, Freddie Freeman, not yet 21 years old. He's here, and he's going to start tonight.
It's always an exciting night when one of your top prospects gets to the big leagues and makes his major league debut. This guy had quite a season in AAA. He's not even 21 years old yet. He was just named the International League Rookie of the Year. He was first in the league in hits, first in total bases, first in defensive percentage as a first baseman, so he can pick it over there too. Second in RBI, second in doubles. Quite a season for the young kid, and we get to see him tonight make his debut here.
It's Game 3 out of 4 between the Braves and the Mets. When we come back, we'll show you what the Philadelphia Phillies did today at Chavez Ravine in Los Angeles. Braves and the Mets in the last couple of nights, Joe. The Phillies have played late on the West Coast, so the Braves have been able to put those W's up and make the Phillies try to match them. Different story today.
Yeah, the Phillies have already played today, Ernie. They already beat the Dodgers at Chavez Ravine, beat them 5-1, and Roy Oswalt had himself quite a day. But he got some offense early on from Jimmy Rollins. Second pitch of the ball game, he bounces one off the top of the fence, and it's 1-0 Phillies.
Another solo shot coming your way as you see that one off the top. Shane Victorino does the damage in the second.
Yeah, Clayton Kershaw pitched a good ball game for most of the time for the Dodgers, but those early home runs put him behind the 8 ball, and Roy Oswalt just was on fire today. 5 2/3 innings of no-hit baseball before they finally got a hit off of him, but he pitched like the guy they were trying to get at the trading deadline to help them down the stretch, and looks like he's off to a good start in September.
Casey Blake grounding into a big double play there in the 8th, and then Chase Utley with the ground rule double in the 9th, and that provided the final margin of 5-1 for the Phillies over the Dodgers. Roy Oswalt in the Philadelphia uniform, now 4-1 with an ERA of 1.89. He goes 6 1/3 today. Did walk 6, but also struck out 6. And now Philadelphia climbs to within 2.5, and the Braves will try to push that to 3 tonight against the New York Mets.
Yeah, the pressure shifts to Atlanta tonight to keep pace by winning their 3rd straight against the Mets. And another thing, too, is that when the Phillies went west after getting swept by the Astros, you thought, well, this might be a good time for the Braves to pad their lead. Hasn't happened. The Phillies have gone 5-1 on that trip out west so far.
Yeah, including a 3-game sweep in San Diego before taking 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. When we come back, the first pitch, Mike Pelfrey goes up against Tommy Hanson in Game 3 of this 4-game set at the TED. .88 degrees. Just a perfect evening. And we thank you for joining us here on Peachtree TV. Time for the Atlanta Center for Cosmetic Dentistry Big Smiles seat upgrade. JJ has found some lucky fans and upgraded their seats. Keep watching to see where the new seats are located. Sponsored by the Atlanta Center for Cosmetic Dentistry. Here's the way the Mets line up for Game 3 of this 4-game set. It's brought to you by the Stone Mountain Park and Evergreen Marriott Resort. For great getaway packages, visit StoneMountainPark.com. Luis Castillo in the leadoff spot, followed by Josh Tolley. David Wright still looking for his first hit here this season. Then Chris Carter, Beltran, Davis, the newcomer Lucas Duda making his first big league appearance tonight, playing left field. Ruben Tejada at short. Mike Pelfrey on the mound for the Mets.
And Tommy Hanson makes his 28th start. He's 8-10, a 3.76 ERA. 2 starts earlier this year against the Mets. One was rain shortened, one a real good one, but he's 0-1 with a 1.69 ERA against them this year.
And Castillo takes a strike. Tim Timmons shouts it out from behind home plate. We're underway. Right out of the gate, 0-2.
Tommy said his problems against Colorado in that last start, when he gave up 7 runs, 6 earned in 5 innings, was he just couldn't locate and he couldn't get the ball down. Hopefully he can get that tilt back. I should say Florida, not against Colorado, but get that tilt back. His angle, firing straight downhill and staying on a straight line to the plate, not falling off the mound.
Started the season 7-3. And has gone 1-7 since. And we talked in the pregame about the fact that when he's been on the mound, there hasn't been a whole lot of support offensively. And there's a good start. Castillo goes down swinging.
Here's the defense behind him tonight. Eric Kinski gets a start in left field. Rick Ankiel in center. Jason Hayward, who is red hot, is in right field. Little different look on the infield tonight. Prado and Infante will be on the left side, as Alex Gonzalez gets a night off. Brooks Conrad gets his first start at second base, and likewise Freddie Freeman, his first big league action at first. Brian McCann doing the catching.
Here's Josh Thole, the Mets catcher. He had last night off. Henry Blanco doing the duties behind the plate. He had a triple in game 1 of this series and homered on Sunday in New York. Fooled there, and it's 1-1. Thole up about an inch on the handle of that bat. Cuts right through that. 1-2.
What a good aggressive start for Tommy Hanson tonight, working both sides of the plate with his fastball.
Thole in a crouch at the plate, waiting on a 1-2. Breaking pitch missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wonder what's going through the mind and the stomach of that kid over there at first base right now, Freddie Freeman.
He just can't wait for that first one to be hit to him, or just a ground ball where he gets a throw made to him.
And the count is full to Josh Thole. That ball's hit to left. Actually in the left center for Ankiel. And that's 2 down. Now here's David Wright. This New York team undergoing a transformation before our very eyes. Jeff Francoeur, as we had told you last night, had been reported he was going to be traded to the Texas Rangers. And as we were leaving the ballpark last night, ran into him, and he had gotten the word and was busy making arrangements to get to Kansas City as a member of the Texas Rangers. Saying his goodbyes in the clubhouse to guys like David Wright last night, and leaving a team that's really floundering for one that's headed to the postseason in the American League.
He said all the right things too, and he was leaving, appreciating all that had been done for him in New York, talking about his manager, his general manager, and coaches. Singled out Howard Johnson too as a guy who had helped him, the hitting coach. But to go from a club who is floundering, the Mets, to a first place team that looks like they're going to coast into the playoffs, what a switcheroo for Jeff Francoeur. That's outstanding for him.
Tommy Hanson way ahead, 0-2. Well, David Wright is 3 for 46 against the Braves this year. That's an 0.65 clip. And here at Turner Field, he's 0 for 28. That is mind-boggling. And he is 0 for 29.
Amazing.
3 up, 3 down for Tommy Hanson. Lineup that Bobby Cox has drawn up for the Braves tonight, and it is a little different, as Joe pointed out when he looked at the defense. Omar Infante leads it off, followed by Jason Hayward, Martin Prado at third, and then Brian McCann hitting cleanup. Eric Hinsky in left. Freddie Freeman makes his big league debut at first, hitting sixth. Then Brooks Conrad, the second baseman, his first start at second this season. Rick Ankiel hits eighth in center field, and then Tommy Hanson, and they face Mike Pelfrey.
26 years old, 6'7", 230. He's a big horse out of Wichita State University, and he's from Wichita, Kansas. Had 3+ years in the big leagues. This year, 13-7 with an excellent ERA, 3.61. Lifetime, though, against the Braves, just 4-7.
Omar Infante takes a strike. Omar's 5 out of 12 against him, 417 career.
Uh-oh. Went into his Wichita State gymnastics mode there as he was about to do a cartwheel down the front slope of the mound.
Just a few rays of sun remaining here at Turner Field, shining on the face of Mike Pelfrey as he goes into the line with the 0-2 and misses.
This guy throws hard. He's got a good two-seam sinker, cutter, slider, occasional changeup, but most everything is power pitcher.
And that's one thing that Jerry Manuel thought he'd gotten away from a little bit earlier this season. He had a really rough July and said, look, this is not a finesse pitcher. This is a power sinker guy. This is what he has to get back to. And he has been on an incredible roller coaster this summer. That's poked into right field for a leadoff single by Infante.
There's Omar going to right field. Got to love that. Good start in the first inning. You're talking about Pelfrey and his struggles, Ernie. He got off to a good start, had a very good month of April, and very decent May and June. But check out July. He actually started a game against the Braves on August 4th and got beat 8-3. Didn't get out of the 5th inning. And in those 9 starts, including that one, he was 0-4 with a 9 ERA.
Look at Jason Hayward. Another one of those 4-iron shots into the gap. Infante is at third, and Hayward slides into second with a hustling double.
Jason was 0 for 8 against him in his career prior to that at bat, and he didn't waste any time jumping on the first one. He got a fastball up a little bit.
It's not
hit it where it was pitched.
Not unlike the ball he hit last night, too, in the midst of that big 7-run rally for the Braves in the 5th.
And hey, look who's playing left field tonight.
Doo-dah, doo-dah.
Just thought maybe you'd like to know. New guy.
Hey, new guy, how are you? Second and third, nobody out. I really did hesitate to go along with you on that, but then I didn't want to just leave you out there hanging.
Oh, I would have finished it. If you had bowed out, I was ready.
Martin has moved up to number 3 in the National League on the hitting charts at 317. Joey Votto continues to lead the way by a hair now over the little pony, Carlos Gonzalez.
Albert Pujols took an 0 for Houston. Didn't get a hit in that series. Astros won again today.
Cardinals been nosediving.
Back to Mike Pelfrey real quick. In the 9 starts leading up to that start against Atlanta, including that one, a 9 ERA, and since then he's gone 3-1 with a 1.20 ERA, so he's really turned it around.
Didn't mean to, fouled it back. 2 balls and a strike.
Pitched arguably his best game of the year in his last start, as they beat the red-hot Houston Astros, who had come off that sweep of the Phillies. And he went 8 innings, shut him out on 6 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Won the game 2-1.
Here comes the 2-1 to Martin. That ball is hit hard to the gap in left center field. Nobody's going to get it. Prado with a stand-up double, and the Braves with an early 2-0 lead.
We talked about the recent offense for the Atlanta Braves and how hot they have been. We also will talk about the lack of run support for Tommy Hanson in recent days. Well, he's already got 2 runs to work with tonight. And a good start to the 3rd game of this series.
To repeat, in those 10 starts, while he was in the game, the Braves scored 14 runs. He looks up now and sees nobody out. A 2-0 lead. And Brian McCann at the plate. He got the night off last night, and all David Ross did was step in and hit his first career grand slam.
Do it. Come on. I liked what David said after the game, too. He said, you know, anytime I can do something to help the team when Brian gets a rest, and at this time of year he needs the rest, it's always a plus.
19 home runs, 70 runs batted in, and McCann steps out.
And he's just torn him up, too, hasn't he?
This is one of those limo games. Going to send a limo for Pelfrey to make sure he gets to the ballpark plenty early.
This series, you got a hot team, you got a cold team. Braves swinging the bat real well. 11 for 27 with men in scoring position. The Mets just 1 for 19. The Mets as a team in the month of August hit 233. Braves hit 37 homers. The Mets hit 12 by comparison in the month of August.
With this shift the Mets have on, the shortstop, Ruben Tejada, is directly behind the bag. So Bryant's looking out there and seeing Pelfrey, and right behind him is Tejada.
Yeah, and the base runner, so he's got a little action going on back there.
Trying to hold up, couldn't. 2-2.
Well, he tried to pull the ball to get the runner over to third. First pitch, laid off 2 pitches wide of the plate because there weren't pitches he could pull, and then saw that high fastball and just reacted, couldn't stop.
The 2-2 with a runner at second, and the Braves already up 2-0. Fly ball to left along the line. Long run for Duda. He makes a great sliding play. Look at that catch. And here comes the throw to third. And Prado is in there. They were kind of scrambling around defensively with the Mets, and David Wright retreating to third. Tejada cut the ball up but couldn't make the play.
What a catch by this kid in his first big league game. He's a first baseman by trade. And he made a tremendous play with nobody covering. Martinez heads up. The throw went off the glove of Tejada, so Wright had no play at third. Good heads up base running by Martinez.
Blue star play for Duda in left. But the Braves now with a runner at third with 1 out for Eric Hinsky. Eric's 4 out of 8 with a home run against him. A ball and a strike. Freddie Freeman in the on-deck circle. Turns 21 later this month. Pushed him inside, 2-1. Prado leads away from third. Rounded on the right side. They're going to come home, and he's going to be out. That's the second time we've seen Martin try to dance around the plate in 2 nights. Unsuccessful both times. Mike Davis came right to the plate to cut him down.
Going on contact even with the infield in. But Martin can't get there in time. And now the first at bat for Freddie Freeman, and listen to the crowd welcome him.
Kind of a nice bonus for the fans who had tickets to this one, because even Freddie didn't know until he got to the ballpark he was going to start tonight. Knew the call-up was happening, but he's penciled into the number 6 spot. And this is his first big league at bat. Swings at the first pitch he sees. 0-1.
Line driving, Freddie.
Right back where it came from. And look where they had him played. Right behind the bag, and Tejada throws him out.
What was that all about? What's he doing back there?
I guess he thought B-Mac was still up. That's it for the Braves, but they scored twice in the first. Then we head to the second, 2-0.
Used or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Braves.
Top half of the second at Turner Field. Chris Carter leads it off. Played left field in the first 2 games of this series, playing right tonight. And takes 1-0. Carter, Beltran, and Ike Davis in the New York second. And Tommy's missed with the first 3.
And he's falling off to first base all of a sudden, something he didn't do in the first inning. Just that quick. He's gotten off his mechanics a little bit.
Nowhere near with the 4th one, and the Mets have the leadoff hitter on in the second. Take a look at tonight's leaderboard, brought to you by the Sunshine House, a tradition of excellence in early education.
Great numbers against the Mets for Tommy Hanson.
His ERA has not been bad in these last 10 starts, where he's gone 0-5, 3.08. Has deserved better, but now he's missed on 5 straight pitches to start the second. He retired the Mets with a strikeout, a fly ball to center, and a grounder to short in the first. There's a strike, 1-1. Beltran just 6 for 31 in his last 10 games. That's a 194 clip as he continues to try to come back from that knee injury. And I think it's more evident, Joe, when you watch him defensively than offensively, that he's not the same player right now.
I agree. His range has really been cut down. Doesn't get near the same jump he used to. Can't play as shallow as he used to. And he's got his work cut out for him, perhaps for the next couple of days, because he's got a converted first baseman playing left, and Chris Carter, who's not a rangy outfielder and has absolutely no throwing arm, that moved from left to right tonight.
Carter leads at first. Here comes the 1-2. Up foul and out of play. This is the 3rd game of a 10-game trip for the Mets. They came out of the All-Star break with a 9-game trip, or 11-game trip, and went 2-9.
Here's a guy, though, that in his career one year stole 41 bases. His first 4 years with the Mets, he stole 17, 18, 23, and 25. This year he has 1. Been on the disabled list a lot and for a long time this season, but just a guy who, that was part of his game, and part of what he brought to the table was stealing, and he has 1 stolen base this year.
Fly ball should be handled. And Rick Ankiel calls for it and makes the play. 1 down. That's the same Beltran who, as an Astro, was 10 for 22 in the 2004 NLDS with 4 homers and 9 runs batted in. Hit .455.
They hit 7 homers, I think, total in the playoffs that year, when the Astros made it to the World Series. His timing was perfect. Became a free agent after that postseason. and signed a huge deal with the Mets.
Now here's Ike Davis. Struck out 3 times in the opener on Monday and twice last night. Jansen misses outside, 1-0.
Came in a hot hitter, too. And he's hit 9 of his last 11, including the last 2 games. But the Braves have shut him down, and they have shut David Wright down.
The runner going. McCann's throw. He's in there. Talked about the Mets and their ability to steal bases, and Carter gets a bag here.
His first one of the year, and it's all due to Tommy Hanson and his slow move to the plate. He's allowed now 27 stolen bases on the year, and that's the most in the National League. And that looked very close. Fonte thought they got him. It looked like they did.
But it goes as stolen base number 116 on the year for the Mets. That's the most in the National League. Breaking ball. Davis watched it. 2-1.
Out, Bob.
That a subtle message to Bob Davidson making the calls at second.
I'm sorry, did that come out? Did I use my loud voice on that?
That's a mile high into shallow center. And Rick Ankiel has his 3rd put out of the game. I guess it was just that the tag was a little high up on the leg. Just giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Remember earlier in this series, I think it was maybe in the Colorado series, where Ed Rapawano missed that call at second base. It really hurt the Braves. It was the Rockies series, and he was on the third base side of the bag, and he couldn't see the tag applied. And Davidson found himself in that same position.
Did you happen to catch what the organist was playing here as our next hitter stepped to the plate? It was Camptown Races.
Of course it was.
Guess who's standing at the plate?
Dude, and this poor kid, do you think he hadn't heard a million of these his whole life?
It's his first big league at bat. Already made a great play in foul territory in the first inning. And here's the 1-0. Fly ball to guess who? Once again, Rick Ankiel. That does it for the Mets in the second in a 2-0 game.
Time for the know-how question of the game, built by the Home Depot. If you have a question, send us an email, and if chosen, we'll answer it later in the game. Send your email to braves@peachtreetv.com, and please include your name. And remember, more saving, more doing. That's the power of Home Depot.
114 more shopping days.
Way to work.
Or thereabouts. Here's Brooks Conrad. Getting a start at second base tonight. Quickly behind, 0-2.
Pelfrey did a good job with some damage control there in the first inning. Could have been a 3-run first easily, but he limited the Braves to just 2, with Prado being thrown out at the plate.
Come on, kid.
Brooks hitting .246, 7 home runs and 27 runs batted in. All 7 of those home runs have come late in the game, and they have a few of them been very dramatic. But it's been more than the long ball too. Remember, he laid down a suicide squeeze bunt against Minnesota. He's been in the middle of a lot of really big moments with his team.
Think about it, how often, if you're the guy that your manager has confidence in as a pinch hitter coming off the bench, it's usually going to be late in the ball game with the game on the line in some fashion. So that's what's cool about how many times Brooks has come through.
That's in the air to right. And Beltran calls off Carter, 1 down. The SunTrust Solid Performance is brought to you by SunTrust. Live solid, bank solid. Boy, Wandy Rodriguez has been pitching well for the Astros. You saw that Roy Oswalt won today for the Phillies at Los Angeles. Here's Rick Ankiel.
Come on, Ricky.
Pelfrey's working fast tonight.
Taking a page out of John Neese's book from last night. Ankiel hitting .240 for the year, 5 home runs and 22 runs batted in. .215 as a Brave with 1 home run and 7 runs batted in.
Oh, yeah, baby. Right there. Come on.
The count is full. The Braves had 3 straight hits to start off this game. Infante singled, Hayward doubled, Prado doubled, and that gave the Braves the 2-0 lead. But Martin was later thrown out at the plate on a ground ball to first. So it's 2-0, and that is a base hit for Ankiel. Just got enough of it into left.
Yeah, he just fought it off, and in fact, Pelfrey thought he made a real good pitch, and after the ball cleared the infield, he looked back at home plate to his catcher as if to ask, how did he get enough of that? But he beat the shift. Normally that might have been a ball that the shortstop Tejada could have caught had they not had the shift on.
Tommy Hanson steps in. He's hitting .120, 6 out of 50, has laid down 6 sacrifice bunts, and he squares here and lays it down up the first base line. Well done.
Good execution there.
So Ankiel now at second. As the top of the order comes to the plate for the Braves, Omar Infante, who's singled in the first.
And he hits everybody, Ernie. It's not just the guys who are at the bottom of a staff on any given team. Against the top 10 pitchers in the National League in wins, ERA, and strikeouts. Just check out those numbers. And hitting .343 overall now.
He's 4 out of 10 in this series and has scored 5 runs.
We made didn't make a big deal about it, but we talked a lot about it last night with the potential of Triple Crown winners like Joey Votto or Albert Pujols. Imagine getting to the end of the season and one of those guys, let's say, supposedly has won the Triple Crown, only to find out that they tacked on the at-bats necessary for Omar Infante and he winds up winning the title.
There's a base hit into left. And Gio rounds third. The throw to the plate will be late, and it's 3-0. Omar is relentless.
He is relentless, and I asked him before the game how he was feeling, if he was beginning to run down at all because he's been playing every day, and he said no, he felt great. And here's a case where Pelfrey gave up an opposite field hit to him his first time up and then decided maybe to try to keep the ball in on him this at bat, and he pulls it and picks up his 39th RBI.
The Braves with 11 two-out runs in this series. Mets had none. Here's Hayward, who looked at the first pitch he saw in his first at bat and about gave Pelfrey whiplash. And he is swinging the bat with bad intentions these days.
Well, you know, in the clubhouse, nobody was happier to see Freddie Freeman or happier for Freddie Freeman than Jason Hayward. They signed the same year. They came up through the ranks together at virtually every stop together.
They're roommates.
Come on, Jason.
Jason, the number 1 pick, and Freeman, the number 2 pick. How about this? How about if they hadn't signed and they had gone to college, they'd have finished up their junior year in college this year on somebody's team. I think Jason was going to UCLA. I don't know where Freddie was going.
2-0 catches the corner, 2 balls and a strike. Well, Freddie's dad, Fred, was telling me, yeah, they met when they were 16. They were out at one of those all-star games together. Didn't know each other, but just immediately that relationship just clicked. And here they are, teammates, on September 1st, 2010.
Lives now in Villa Park, California, which is in Orange County, not too far from Anaheim Stadium.
The 3-1. That's over. The count full.
Talked about Jerry Manuel's admiration for his plate discipline. There was a good case of it where he was looking for something middle away and was able to lay off that strike inside.
The 3-2. Look at that. Goes the other way. Infante to third. They're going to wave him. The relay. Safe. Ball gets away and goes back to the screen. And Hayward is at third.
Fastball up and away, goes the other way again. Second time in 2 innings he's done that. Nice play by Duda to cut the ball off and get it in quickly. And Tejada's throw was a little high and off the mark. Got away from Tolle, and that's what allowed Omar to get in there. It'll be a double and an E6.
Now here's Prado, who knocked in 2 runs in the first. 65 runs batted in now for Jason Hayward.
I love Brian Snitker's aggressiveness coaching third, too. He never hesitated waving Omar around.
Well, Tommy Hanson has to be loving this. 4 early runs.
This is Martin's 18th game batting in the 3 spot in the order, and counting tonight he has 17 RBIs.
He goes down swinging here, but the Braves pad their lead. They scored 2 more here in the second, and it's 4-0 Braves. Hits in the first 2 innings. They lead 4-0 as we go to the third. They're the recipients of the Big Smiles Seat Upgrade, sponsored by Dr. Deborah Gray King and the Atlanta Center for Cosmetic Dentistry. The place in Atlanta to get a beautiful smile. Because they took the cosmetic part of that a little too seriously.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how pro wrestling might have a new nominee.
And there's a do for you.
Already 4-0, and let's read the Atlanta Business Chronicle. Guy's got a pocket protector and everything.
Ruben Tejada leading it off in the third against Tommy Hanson. You strike me as the pocket protector type of guy. When you were in high school, probably had one of those.
Mm-hmm. Pushing the audio-visual cart down the hallway.
Ball on a strike. That's a great visual.
I mean, can you imagine? We had people pushing TVs to various classrooms in those days.
Yeah.
Compared to a computer,
yeah,
or 20 in every classroom now.
Get in trouble for not showing up with your compass and protractor for math class. Tejada waiting on a 2-1. And Keel on his horse again. And what a play! Rick's been busy out there tonight, and that's the best one yet.
Pretty catch. Graceful play. He was playing shallow for this guy who really doesn't have much power to speak of, so he had to give ground. And at full reach, got it, held on to it. Nice play.
We'll give him a blue star, too.
There you go.
Very liberal with the blue stars tonight. One for Keel, one for Duda. Here's Belfry.
Some folks might be wondering tonight about the lineup, Ernie, with respect to, okay, Brooks Conrad's been playing a lot of third base this year. Why play him at second tonight when you could put Prado at second and move Omar to short? And the only explanation I can give you, and I think it's a good one, is that the reason Martin's been playing third instead of Omar in this current configuration is his broken pinky finger.
That's tapped over the mound. Conrad backhand and threw him out.
Martin doesn't have any issues playing third base and handling the hot corner, but with that broken finger and trying to catch the ball and get the bare hand in there quickly, turning the double play, that does concern him. And he didn't want to run the risk of banging that finger on potential double play balls. So he's going to be stationed at third for the rest of the time, and that's why Brooks is at second tonight.
It is the 7th time that Brooksy has played second base this season, his first start. 2 up and 2 down, and here's Luis Castillo. Struck out his first time. Takes a strike, 0-1. What it also gives Bobby, I mean, he's got a lot of interchangeable parts here depending on what happens in certain games and certain situations and guys he can plug in. That's tapped foul at the plate, 0-2.
I was talking to a scout about that tonight, about how if you were to line up the Braves next to the Phillies position by position, you're going to find more superstars and better all-star type players for the Phillies than you are for the Braves. But that doesn't necessarily mean they play better than the Braves as a team. And man, are there a lot of scouts here right now. Last night, 26 of them. The point being, the Braves have a roster full of really good baseball players, and they're showing it the way they played this year.
But Tommy Hanson is showing his stuff tonight. He leads 4-0 going to the bottom half of the third. Georgia will have the chance to win free airfare for 2 if the Braves go deep here in the third. Visit PeachTreeTV.com/contest for official rules and to enter for a chance to win. AirTran Airways. Go, there's nothing stopping you. Brian McCann leads it off here in the third. Belfry has allowed 10 home runs, all to left-hand hitters. McCann has hit 19 with 70 runs batted in. And he got plunked here to lead off the bottom of the third. Where'd it get him?
Let's say the elbow. There ought to be a rule against catchers getting hit. You know, they get beat up enough.
He would vote for that.
Yeah, right on the back point of the elbow. Might have hit the ulnar nerve and caused it to just go numb.
stick it in the dirt and stay in there.
Red spot there.
You can see Bud Selig's name written backwards. Leadoff hitter on in the third for Eric Hinsky. And you can see BMAC down there still kind of shaking that arm out to get the feeling back in it. It's hurt. Hinsky takes 2-0. He reached on a fielder's choice in the first. It was the ground ball to Ike Davis that he came to the plate with and threw out Martin Prado to keep the lead at 2 at that point. Braves tacked on 2 more in the second and have the leadoff hitter on here in the third in the person of Brian McCann. Two balls and a strike. Freddie Freeman on deck. If you're just joining us, he's making his major league debut tonight. 20-year-old first baseman.
And were it not for a shift that was on for him his first time up, you'd had a base hit.
How about that? You come up, you've never had a big league at bat, and they've already got a shift on him.
Yeah.
3 balls and 1 strike. Had an interesting conversation with Freeman's dad too, so we'll kind of share some of that as we go tonight, so just to kind of give you a little handle on who this kid is and where he's come from. That ball is hit to center field. Beltran just a couple of steps back. 1 down. Freddie Freeman's dad is Fred, and the story is really interesting. There he is in the blue shirt there, and that's his wife Alma there on his left, and Alma is his second wife. He was married to Rosemary, Freddie's mom, and she actually died of cancer 10 years ago. When Freddie was 10 years old, but she's the one who took him to his first T-ball practice. And Fred couldn't be there, and he told Rosemary, he said, look, when he gets there, the coach is going to try to make him bat right-handed. If he does that, I want you to take him by the hand and take him away from practice. Sure enough, when he got there, the coach turned him around.
Really?
Rosemary went up and said, Coach, my husband said you would do this and that we're supposed to leave. So they left practice. He wanted nobody messing with the left-handed swing of this kid.
He's a wise man.
Takes upstairs. Fred then raising 3 boys on his own after his wife had passed. And eventually the boys, Fred said, after they kind of were making do for dinner, said, Dad, just try cooking something. And he really came up with 5 dishes, and still the favorite thing that Freddie likes to eat is his dad's chicken and rice with gravy. And he lines to third right there, and the throw back to first. Now there's confusion. Was that a line drive or was it a short hop? And now McCann's going to run to second. And when the dust has settled, it is going to be a double play.
Brian didn't have to run. He could have stayed there. But 2 hard hit balls by Freddie. He could be 2 for 2. Instead, he's 0 for 2. And the umpires are going to have a chat about this one.
Bob Davis. Again.
Did it short hop the glove of David Wright? Well, Bob Davidson's yelling out. He's pointing at David Wright and holding his arm up like it was caught.
We'll sort it all out. This was the Airtran Airways home run, and there was no winner, just a lot of confusion. on that last play.
I think the guy that messed this up was Dan Iasonia at first base. Look, see Bob Davidson, the second base ump, is pointing like he caught it. There's an out. The throw back to first. Iasonia is calling Freeman out. But he's pointing at Freddie Freeman, so that somehow confused Brian into thinking that he had to run. But I think he was already out on the double play anyway. I think it's a 5-3 double play.
Any way you add it up, we're in the top of the fourth now in a 4-0 game. And here's Josh Tolley.
I do like Brian's attitude on something like that, though. You know, when the ball's hit, you're not sure. Just run until they tag you.
Here comes the 0-2 from Hansen to Tolley. Goes the other way, right at Eric Hinsky, one down.
And here in the fourth inning, time for tonight's Toyota trivia question. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota moving forward. Who was the last New York Met to lead the National League in home runs? Well, once again, you've got a nominee in their dugout, Howard Johnson.
You see, you tried Howard Johnson last night, so may as well go back to the well. Knowing the guys in the truck, they'd say, hey, look, that's what he gets last night.
Right.
David Wright fouls it off. He grounded to short his first time, so now he's 0 for 29 at Turner Field this year. 3 for 47 for the season against Atlanta. Tommy has struck out 2 through 3 1/3 and allowed 1 base runner on a walk to Chris Carter. Here comes the 0-2 to David Wright. And that missed. 1 and 2.
It's not just a hit drought, but a long ball drought too for this guy.
And there is a rare base hit against the Braves, and even more rare, a base hit in this ballpark for David Wright. So we can retire the stat.
Now 1 for 30 this year at Turner Field. See what he got. Slider that was out over the plate a little bit. He's still on his heels some and had to reach for it, but he's a strong kid and able to pull it down the line.
So the first hit of the night for the Mets, and here's Chris Carter. Mets have done nothing with runners in scoring position in this series. This is game 3 out of 4. A 1 for 21 with runners in scoring position. Carter was at second in the second, but 3 fly balls to Rick Ankiel took care of that. Right with his lead at second. Hansen to the plate, grounded to first. Freeman with his first chance with the flip to Hansen. 2 down.
Freddie Freeman was in big league camp and spring training with the Braves, and that helps you get acclimated to being around these guys, and they get to know you a little bit. So it's not you're not a total stranger when you walk in the clubhouse. But there's no way to simulate spring training with regular season, especially when your team's in first place and in a pennant race. There's just nothing that matches up with that. So quite a night for him.
And you know, his power numbers jump off the page at you, but also a really good glove man at first. And when you look ahead, kind of the projection is that when 2011 rolls around, he will be your first baseman. Beltran at the plate now and takes. Ball and a strike.
The left-handed side has been weaker for Beltran because it's harder on his knee. It's a 209 average left-handed, so Tommy can be aggressive with him, especially inside. Good pitch there away, though.
1-2. Mets playing shorthanded again. Jose Reyes not in there. Angel Pagan not in there. Jeff Francoeur traded to the Texas Rangers. Hansen trying to end it right here. And a stop by B. Mac. 2-2.
Nice stop. That saved a run. Braves still have 3 games left at Citi Field in the middle of the month, the 17th, 18th, and 19th. The beginning of another 3-city trip, 10-day trip, 4th one of the year.
The 2-2 with 2 out. Stayed alive. 30 games left for the Braves, and 23 of those against division teams, including this one tonight and tomorrow, which wraps up the series against the Mets. Only games out of the division are against the Cardinals and the Pirates. Once again, the 2-2 on the way to Beltran.
Braves got off to a slow start against the National League East, Ernie, and you talked about how they have those games, so many games left with the East. They started 3-10. They've gone 24-12 since. A lot of that 3-10 was in that crummy month of April.
All a distant memory now. That ball's hit hard, but foul past first.
Fouled off some pitches away, and then they sped up his bat a little bit with that off-speed pitch. He was fooled, but he yanked it foul. I'd like to see him bust him inside the good fastball and see how he handles it.
Once again, McCann bouncing around back there. It's 3-2. There's Ike Davis on deck. Mets are down 4-0. They do have a runner at third with 2 down. And a full count to Carlos Beltran. Here it comes. Towards second. Conrad to Freeman. That takes care of that. We are through 3.5. 4-zip Braves.
Toyota trivia question. Who was the last Met to lead the National League in homers? The obvious is Hojo. He's in the dugout. I'm going Darryl Strawberry instead.
Oh, look at you.
I thought it was a setup.
You're thinking too much.
I thought it was a setup.
You're thinking too much.
I almost went George Foster.
I wouldn't have been. Always go with your first, instinct on that one. 0-1 to Brooks Conrad, who flied out his first time. Braves trying to make it 3 straight over the Mets and 5 straight overall. Brooks was part of that. Sometimes it's overlooked as he flies to center, but he's the guy who started off that rally in the 9th inning when Matt Diaz hit the game-tying home run, and then Brian McCann had the solo shot to win it with the replay, but he had the leadoff walk in the 9th, get that runner on there and make all that stuff happen. Here's Rick Ankiel, who singled his first time and scored. That ball was well hit, right back where it came from, and he's on again. One of the great things about this time when the rosters expand, we've told the story of Freddie Freeman and his meteoric rise to the big leagues, and then on the other end of the spectrum you have stories like this one. J.C. Boscan, and he got the call up, 14 years in the minor leagues. Now at the age of 30, here he is wearing the big league uniform as a member of the Atlanta Braves, and Hansen squares the bunt and takes, but he got the word earlier this week from his manager at Gwinnett, Dave Brundage, who called him in after a game. In fact, he had seen Troy Gloss go in and meet, and seen Nate McLouth go in and meet after the game, and knew they were getting the word they're going back to the big club. And he said he sat there and he was just praying, please, let this be the time. As Hansen lays down another sacrifice bunt up towards first, 2 down. He said he got in there, and he said that Dave Brundage really milked it. He sat down there, and he said his lip was already quivering just in anticipation of what was going to be said. And Brundage said, how long have you been at this? He said, 14 years. In the minor leagues, yeah. He said, well, those days are over. You're going up. And he said he was crying. Brundage was crying. Anybody within earshot was crying. It was one of the greatest moments.
You know it.
And that's what makes it so special at this time, to see the kid come up at 20, and then to see this 30-year-old who has been so patient get the chance. He's a catcher, and he's talking to Brian McCann right there.
I don't think we can put into words what he must have felt after working so hard and staying with it so long. And he's been in the Braves organization virtually the whole time. He did become a minor league free agent, signed with the Brewers. The next year, a minor league free agent again and signed with the Reds. And then the Braves re-signed him again as a minor league free agent. So outside of 2 one-year stints in 2 other organizations, that whole time has been spent working his way through every stop along the way for Atlanta.
Yeah, he said the first call he made was to his wife, Jada. And he had a lot of phone calls to make, so he just said, I made it. I'll talk to you later. Heard a scream on the other end of the phone, and then called mom and dad.
Oh, no.
2 balls and a strike to Omar Infante, who is hitting for the 3rd time in this, the 4th inning. Braves lead at 4-0. Phone call to Venezuela to talk to his mom and dad. And let the celebration begin. Right up the middle. Man, that ball was hit hard. And Keel around 3rd. Here comes the throw. And he is out. Carlos Beltran uncorked a strike, and Tolley put the tag on him. Can't be much better than that.
pay less.
We move to the top half of the fifth, and Ike Davis to face Tommy Hanson in a 4-0 Atlanta game. Davis flying out to center his first time. Prado well off the line at third, and Rick Ankiel shaded over toward left. And that's to left center field. Ankiel on the run. And right in front of Eric Hinsky makes the play.
I want to go back to that play at the plate where Ankiel was thrown out. What a good play here by Beltran. Watch where this ball hits. He fires a laser that skips behind the mound and then makes it on the fly. Maybe just a quick short hop to Tolley at the plate. But that ball skipped from the second base side of the mound over the mound right to the catcher. What a throw. Had to have some real good backspin on it.
And sometimes, too, you'll see a throw like that. If it does catch the mound or on the upslope on the back, you don't know where that thing's going to go. And that was perfect.
Just perfect. Great angle here. Yeah, that bounce, that was a one hopper that bounced on the second base side of the mound. Right over the top with his motion. It's just tremendous.
Here's Lucas Duda, who flied out to center in his first big league at bat in the second. Oh, that just never ends.
That was not me.
What do you mean that was not you?
That wasn't me. That was him.
Was that Hal?
Yes.
The 1-2. Down even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Big fella, as you can see, 6'4", 240. 24 years old, out of Riverside, California.
And USC. And as Hal would want me to say, it's not South Carolina.
Tommy's into the wind, the 2-2. Rick Ankiel has been a busy man. Friday, September 10th against the Cardinals, the first 10,000 kids 14 and under will get a free pack of Braves logo bands plus a $4 off coupon on your next pack of Braves logo bands at the Braves Clubhouse store at CNN Center. For tickets, visit braves.com/tickets or call 800-745-3000. So get your Braves logo bands. Two down here in the fifth. And here is Tejada. They do strike.
Sorry, Ernie. They do keep track of such things like putouts, and the National League record for most putouts by an outfielder was by Earl Clark of the Boston Braves back in May of 1929. He had 12, and already 7 for Rick Ankiel tonight.
Tejada picked up a couple of hits last night, which was a rarity. He's just hitting 110. 9 for 82 over his last 29 games with the Mets. And since being called up from Buffalo, their AAA affiliate, 5 out of 45. That's one of the ways he reached last night via the bunt.
And see, I know he needs hits, and I know he wants to get hits. I know he's a rookie. I know he doesn't have that much experience. But with 2 out, you bunt, you get on, you do clear the pitcher, and you have the leadoff man the next inning. All right, I'll give you that. But if you're going to bunt here, you better steal second and probably third to make it easy for the pitcher.
The count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Last night he laid one down and reached, but there were 2 outs, and Jonathan Neese struck out for the third out of the inning.
He was practically giddy at first base that he'd gotten his second hit in the game.
He is 20.
I know.
Softly to right. Softly into the glove of Jason Hayward. 3 up, 3 down. We're halfway home. There's the good news from Turner Field, 4-0 for the home team as Jason Hayward comes to the plate to lead it off. Braves had some news on Derek Lowe this afternoon, scheduled to pitch on Friday, but that won't happen, Joe.
No, he still got a little discomfort, some posterior elbow soreness. He's going to be scratched from his start on Friday, and Kenshin Kawakami will take his place. He did get a cortisone shot a few days ago to try to alleviate some of that, but it's not responding like he would like, obviously, so they're going to play it safe and have Kawakami pitch against the Marlins.
I believe that's the first time he's done that in his career. He's never been on the disabled list. Right. He is not right now, but it got to the point where he said, well, let's try the cortisone. Two balls and a strike to Hayward, who is 2 out of 2. Doubled in the first, doubled in the second. Both of them rifle shots. That second one he just took to left field on a line.
Their infield positioning, it's kind of odd to me. There's hardly anyone that does this to Jason because he hits the ball so frequently to left center and left field. I don't get this. If you're going to play that way and pull right way off the line and move Tejada up the middle, then you better pitch him inside and hope that he's going to pull the ball and hit the ball to these guys that you're positioning that way. If you pitch him away, you're pitching against your defense.
Wright's more than 30 feet off the line at third. And right over his head. And Jason is 3 out of 3.
This doesn't make any sense. Three for 3 tonight. He's now 14 for his last 27. And there's not a little cheap one in the bunch in there anywhere.
That average continues to rise. It was 277 coming in. Here's Martin Prado. He doubled home 2 in the first, giving him 60 runs batted in on the year. His .320 average at home, second best, or against right-handers, second best in the National League. And if he can pick up another hit here tonight, it'll give him 53 multi-hit games and tie him with Ichiro for the lead in baseball. His 159 hits, the most in the National League. And that with a stint on the disabled list. Popped him up. Davis makes the play in foul ground, 1 down.
I will say this for Mike Pelfrey. He's making this manageable anyway and trying to keep his team in it. Gave up 4 early runs, but he's also had 2 runners thrown out at the plate. So his defense has helped him out. But this is really contrary to the way he's pitched over his last 4 starts, where he's really bounced back after a rough July. And he's looking for his career-high 14th win tonight. But he's doing some damage control. I'll give him that. Braves already with 9 hits.
Here's Brian McCann, whose right elbow is no doubt still barking. He was hit by a pitch above the elbow his last time. Also flied out to left in a great play by Duda in the first. Pelfrey called that month of July one of the worst stretches of his life. When in 5 starts, he was 0-3 with that, or 0-3 with that ERA over 10. As McCann lofts this one to center, and that's 2 down.
It's a good thought by Jason to go back and tag up, but with Beltran getting to that and getting under it, you don't want to test his arm. If you want to run now and try to swipe second. Pelfrey's a guy that he's got really good stuff. Like we said, a first-round pick out of Wichita State, a real good college program. 2 years ago, he went 13-11. Last year, he went 10-12. This year, his record much better at 13-7. They're just kind of waiting for him to take that giant step forward and be the ace. And he could be ace number 1B behind Santana if you want to be. And that would give them a real solid 1-2 punch from the left and right side.
And they have to like what they've seen from the youngster Jonathan Neese, who has shown flashes.
Yeah, they like him a lot. I was talking to some people around their team, and they were talking about how tough-minded he is and gutsy he is.
And R.A. Dickey, who the Braves will not see in this series, has had a great year, the knuckleballer.
Well, beginning tonight, the Braves they've got some tough pitchers to deal with Pelfrey, who's 13-7. Tomorrow, Johan Santana, 10-9. Then they go to Florida. They're going to see Ricky Nolasco, who's 14-9. Josh Johnson, who's 11-5. And that kid, Alex Zanavia, who's 3-2. Tough lineup of pitchers against Atlanta hitters over the next several days.
And you see that pitch number 80 about to be delivered by Mike Pelfrey to Eric Hinsky here in the 5th.
Yeah, but don't be too concerned about that. I'll tell you why after this pitch.
Hello.
His last 4 starts, 122 pitches, 113, 119, and then 124 in his last start against Houston.
That was his season high.
Big, strong guy.
Pelfrey chases Hayward back again as Hinsky waits on a 1-2. Braves lead at 4-0. They've got 9 hits. Again, they throw over. Last 3 wins for the Braves over the Mets. Scored 8 runs, 9-9. And you mentioned the last time Pelfrey pitched here in August that the Mets were throwing the ball all over the yard. Made 4 errors in that game, and Braves beat him 8-3.
Remember earlier tonight when we thought that Brian McCann had thrown at the base stealer? And I thought Bob Davidson was on the wrong side of second. See where he's positioned here, the umpire. As a left-handed hitter, I don't want him there. I'm surprised Hinske hasn't asked him to move over on the other side of second base so that he's got a little better view of the pitcher and he doesn't become an obstruction just seeing the ball out of the pitcher's hand. I used to hate that. Move over to the right side so that you're not in my line of sight from the ball coming out of the pitcher's hand. And it puts him in a better position to make the call at second on top of that.
That miss, 3-2. And most umpires, from your experience, will...
Oh, yeah. They'll accommodate you.
Hayward with his lead at first. Hinske waits on a 3-2 from Mike Pelfrey here in the 5th. Hayward on the move, and Hinske cuts right through it for the 3rd out. We head to the 6th. 4-0. Game as we go to the 6th, and a defensive change for Atlanta as Melky Cabrera replaces Eric Hinske in left field. Big night for Tommy Hanson. You know, it's a big game. All these are big for the Braves when you're in a pennant race, and trying to take advantage of a New York team that is a little shorthanded, a little beat up. Team that's not exactly well, I don't know how to put that, but they're down on their luck a bit.
Yeah.
And Tommy Hanson hasn't won since the 3rd of July.
Well, he's due. I mean, he's due to get some runs. He's due to have a couple of breaks go his way. And given him those early runs tonight, he has settled into a nice groove, retiring 5 in a row and 6 of the last 7.
Luis Hernandez will pinch hit for Mike Pelfrey to lead off the 6th. So the night over for Mike Pelfrey. He leads, trailing 4-0. Hernandez started it short in game 1 of this series. Had a bad hop single that scored a run.
Had a glimpse of Pedro Feliciano warming up. He worked the eighth inning of last night's game.
Tommy Hanson has allowed one hit, one walk, has struck out a couple, and induces a grounder. Oh, look at that pick by Freddie Freeman at first. Saved Infante an error. The kid can pick it.
Had the highest fielding percentage of any first baseman in the International League, and an in-between hop there too. It wasn't just an easy short hop scoop.
Well, those short hops are easy. That in between, that longer hop. Yeah, that was well done. One down.
Freddie's a good target too. He's 6'5".
Castillo has struck out twice and has not looked good doing it.
They've sent 18 men to the plate and only 2 have reached. A walk by Carter in the second and a double by Wright in the fourth.
Tries to bunt his way on. It's fouled at the plate, 1-2. In the small picture, he's hit safely in 4 of his last 5 games. In the big picture, over his last 17, he's hitting just .205.
They're the only team in baseball that doesn't have a home run from their second baseman.
That had to be a stat that came from the one and only Hal Galima as he grounds to second. Conrad Freeman, 2 down.
You are right, sir. He's the whistling Kent Town Races guy.
Shouting the names of pinch hitters guy. Two down. Here in the 6th, Josh Tolley at the plate. He's 0 for 2, a couple of flyouts.
Just a couple of days ago, the Marlins and Nationals played a 10-inning game that was scoreless until the 10th, and the Marlins prevailed 1-0. Tonight, Florida leads 15-4 after 4. Scott Olson, the former Marlin, started that game for the Nats.
And 2 nights ago, they had the game that started 2 hours and 49 minutes late because of rain down there in South Florida. Cincinnati trailing.
That's news.
As we told you earlier, the Phillies already won today. As Tolley skies one to Rick Ankiel. Still got a chance at that record. That's 8 on the night for the Braves center fielding. there's nothing stopping you. The finale of this series comes your way here on Peachtree TV tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Friday and Saturday, the Marlins on Sports South. Sunday, the finale of that series on Fox Sports South. And then 3 games in Pittsburgh on Sports South Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Monday is next Monday at Pittsburgh, Labor Day. That's why the day game, the first game of that series. And a beauty tomorrow. Tim Hudson against Johan Santana. Hope you'll be with us.
Luis Hernandez stays in the game at second. And Pedro Feliciano, who works a lot, is on the scene again.
Game number 70 for him. And repeat myself, if you were with us last night, he's typically their left-handed setup man. He's like a 7th or 8th inning guy, but last night worked the 8th in a runaway game, and tonight he's in there in the 5th inning. Make it the 6th.
Here's Freddie Freeman looking for his first big league hit. He's 0 for 2. He's hit the ball hard. Grounded out to short, and then lined into that double play. It went in the books as a 5-3 double play, as they doubled off Brian McCann his last time.
I think Freddie, for the early part of his minor league career, was kind of looked at as a Mark Grace type guy, you know, a gap type hitter. He's going to hit a lot of doubles, hit for a high average. But he kind of fooled everybody this year when all of a sudden he came on strong and hit 18 homers for the season at AAA. Quick bat. Slightly open stance and really dives into the plate.
One of his big brothers played a little college ball, but his dad says he knew right away that Freddie was the best ball player of the bunch. When he was 6 years old, he was practicing with his big brother's 12-year-old team. Takes 2 balls and 2 strikes. He will turn 21 on September the 12th. Breaking pitch got him. First big league strikeout for Freddie Freeman.
Didn't flinch on this sidearm breaking ball, though. He stayed right in there. Just a good pitch from Feliciano to get him, tied him up a little bit. That's his first real out. I mean, he's been robbed of 2 hits tonight.
Third strikeout by New York pitching. And here's Brooks Conrad, who turns around and bats right-handed against the lefty Feliciano. He's flied out to center twice. Braves got 2 in the first and 2 in the second, and it hasn't changed since. 4-0 as he grounds to third. Nice play. Wright knocks it down, but will not have a throw. And Conrad's on with his first hit of the night.
Well, it saved a double. And David Wright, who's won a Gold Glove before, was turned into beauty there.
Now here's Rick Ankiel. He's 2 out of 2. Scored a run in the second. This could be 2. And it is. Well turned. 1-6-3. That does it for the Braves in the 6th. We head to the 7th in a 4-0 game.
buy a bottle of Coke, experience a thrilling 4D theater, and taste beverages from around the world? Visit the world of Coca-Cola today.
As a good friend of mine would say, we are zipping right along. Top half of the 7th inning. With the Braves leading 4-0, and the Mets no runs on 1 hit against Tommy Hanson. That only hit belongs to David Wright.
Earlier tonight, we showed you some numbers for Omar Infante against the top pitchers in the National League in wins, ERA, and strikeouts. And they were all in the high threes, even one in the 400 range. David Wright's numbers don't compare. He has really scuffled against the better pitchers. Nothing above 178.
Down the line, foul. That double he picked up in the 4th was his first hit in this ballpark this year. He had been 0 for 29. He made it as far as 3rd, but the Mets could not bring him home. The 0-1. Over for a strike, 0-2.
He's set down 19 of the 21 he's faced.
Went upstairs, and Wright was having none of that. A ball and 2 strikes. Right in the top 10 in the National League in RBIs with 86. He's tied for number 7.
He's got great power the other way. And when he's behind in the count, one of the things he does, he just takes away all of his stride. Either that or he'll pick his foot up and put it down real quick and try to center over the outer part of the plate. And he can drive the ball out of the park to right field.
Here comes pitch number 88 from Tommy Hanson. Just did foul it back.
And with the count still 1-2, watch David Wright up from our center field camera and watch how long before Tommy releases the ball, he's already put that front foot down.
Got him looking. 1 down.
Fewer strikeouts for Tommy tonight, only 3. And a beautiful curveball there. There's that foot down and then just works against it, but he got locked up on the hook. Great pitch. Tommy Hanson is dealing tonight. This is the guy that Bobby Cox and Roger McDowell are hoping takes the reins and runs with it here in September.
Chris Carter on a line to right. Jason Hayward, no problem. 2 down. You know, you talk about that game against the Marlins when he gave up the home runs, which was really an aberration. He'd gone 47 innings without giving up a long ball, and tonight nobody's really threatened, and he has not been in trouble. This is the kind of start we talked about that the Braves needed out of him.
Right, but he's kept the ball down too, Ernie. He hasn't been working up in the zone. He's kept the ball down somewhere around the knees, maybe a little bit above, and made good pitches, and he's being aggressive and throwing a lot of strike ones.
Beltran's 0 for 2, and he's down in the count, 0-2.
Good changeup there. Great ratio for him tonight, and that includes that 4-pitch walk to lead off the second.
Skied down the right side, out of play. Encouraged to hear the news on Meg Fletcher, little Meg Fletcher, the 6-year-old daughter of Molly Fletcher and Fred, who Molly's with Career Sports and Entertainment, along with Lonnie Cooper, a good friend of both of ours. And that missed. She was hit by a foul ball here the other night in the first game of this series and had to be hospitalized because of it. We know she's getting better by the day, and we continue to send our well wishes and our prayers to the Fletcher family.
Yeah, we understand she's out of ICU. That's great news.
And in good hands over there at Scottish Rite. Here's the 1-2. That ball could not have been hit more softly.
Describe it if you will.
It's time to stretch. We are going to the bottom half of the 7th inning at Turner Field. And the third New York pitcher arrives on the scene. It's Bobby Parnell.
Hard throwing right-hander. There is numbers for the year. Good numbers. This is his 32nd game. Good walk to strikeout ratio. This guy started some for them too in the past. Maybe not this year, but I have to double check that. But he has in the past. And Nate McLeod will hit for Tommy Hansen.
Don't be surprised to see some mid to high 90s out of this right arm as Parnell goes to work here in the 7th. There's a 96 for you.
No starts this year for Parnell. Thanks, Hal. What are Nate's numbers? Well, he was at Gwinnett. I asked Nate before the game, I said, last night when you got hit with a pitch, I said, it's hard to hit a guy in the armpit. He goes, that's where it hit me. He said, guys in the dugout were saying, well, why don't you turn your back and take it in the shoulder blade? He said, do you think that'd be better?
He said it hurt to apply deodorant today. That thing hit him right there. Rounds it to short. Tejada. One down.
But Tommy Hansen, what a night. 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk. Shut him out, struck out 3. And if you're thinking, well, why isn't he still in the ball game? I got a couple of thoughts on that. One, it's September. And 7 innings is great. That's something for him to build on after some rough times. Hoping to get his first win since July 3rd. So build on that. Save him an inning or 2 here where you can so that he's still fresh the rest of the month and hopefully into the postseason.
Great start to the month of September after a winless August for Tommy Hansen. Omar Infante is 3 out of 3. Came in hitting .341.
So Infante now with 3 hits. That gives him 121 hits in 105 games.
Is that any good?
That's real good.
And that point you made earlier, too, if he just keeps on getting consistent at bats and gets the minimum requirement, jumps right up there to the top of the list in the National League. Doesn't have the at bats needed at this point to qualify for a batting title.
I made that statement earlier tonight about how the Braves may not have any superstars that compare to elite players like the Phillies have at some different positions, but they have just a team full of baseball players, and this guy is certainly one of those that fit that bill. Play all these different positions, tough out, runs the bases right, hustles. You just love having baseball players on your team, and the Braves are loaded with them.
That last fastball at 98, which is 5 miles an hour slower than we saw from Aroldis Chapman in his Cincinnati debut last night. On the ground to second. Easy for Hernandez. 2 down. There's a look at Chapman last night on in relief in the 8th inning. Don't blink. I mean, that's a wicked hook after we showed you that. There's 102. There's 103 miles an hour on the gun. When I heard, when he was still in the minor leagues and they had him clocked at 105, I was like, that must be one of those defective guns that, clocks a tree going 73 miles an hour that a state trooper has. But then he goes up to the bigs and throws 103 in his debut. Here's Hayward.
Well, he could, because he got called up soon enough, he could be a definite game changer and have an influence on some postseason games if the Reds go on and win the division.
Look out.
They're still playing Jason off the line and cheating David Wright over towards shortstop, and Jason just keeps hitting rockets that way. How about the top 2 guys in the order for the Braves tonight, going 6 for 7 so far?
Missed outside at 101.
Wow.
Hardest fastball you saw as a player? Was it Nolan Ryan?
It was one of them. I actually saw a guy, professionally speaking, Lynn Barker was right there too. Lynn Barker, when he was with Cleveland, Mercy. Scary. I saw him in the minor leagues too, and he didn't know where it was going.
In a dimly lit ballpark.
Yeah.
That's grounded to the left side and through. Jay Hay is 4 out of 4.
And I'm telling you, that's a routine ground ball for the shortstop if they don't have the shift on. Hard fastball away, may not have even been a strike. But by moving the shortstop over to the left, that's right through the whole thing very much. That's the 3rd, 4th hit game in like the last, 10 days.
Yep, had one Monday in the first game of this series. Here in game 3, does it again.
3rd in his last 10 games.
Alex, know if that's is that any good? Yeah.
During this 7-game hitting streak, he's now 15 for 29. That's pretty good.
Colorado's 1 out of 3. And there goes Jason. And he is out. Darn near stole it, with Parnell staring in at the catcher.
I didn't think Parnell was ever going to turn around.
They trail 4-0, and Johnny Venters, in relief of Tommy Hanson, makes his 63rd appearance.
He worked an inning last night and really looked sharp. 1, 2, 3 inning. Fanned two of the 3 hitters he faced, Beltran and Jeff Francoeur. Which turned out to be Jeff Francoeur's last at bat in the Mets uniform.
Hey, Hal, have you seen if Frenchie has arrived for duty with the Texas Rangers in Kansas City? No balls and 2 strikes. Has yet to play tonight, as far as Jeff Francoeur goes, with his new team, the Texas Rangers. Texas with an 8.5 game lead over Oakland as the day began, and an excellent opportunity for Francoeur. Go from a team that's really struggling to a team that is headed for the postseason full speed ahead.
In baseball parlance, that is going from the outhouse to the castle. Rangers with a very comfortable lead.
And you know what's amazing? Cliff Lee hasn't been that good with them. That is no way to start the 8th. Leadoff walk to Ike Davis.
Yeah, especially when you're ahead 1 and 2.
So here's the New York Met who's making his big league debut tonight, Lucas Duda.
This guy had 6 homers and 34 RBIs in AA, 17 homers and 53 RBIs in AAA. So 23 homers on the year and 87 ribbies. That's exactly the same number of RBIs that Freddie Freeman had.
He had a cut, came up empty, 0-2.
Hal looked it up for us, Ernie. Cliff Lee's last 5 starts, he's 0-3 with an ERA over 8. Had a horrible throwing error last night, too.
Luckily, C.J. Wilson has been lights out for that team. And nobody's made a real serious run at him, as Duda goes down on strikes. This Saturday, high noon, SEC football returns on Peachtree TV. Catch all the hard-hitting football action as the Georgia Bulldogs take on the Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajuns live in HD on Peachtree TV.
Apparently it was Georgia Tech night here tonight too. They had the Ramblin' Wreck driving around the ballpark with the cheerleaders,
the pom-poms, and the whole thing. Yeah,
it's very well received
by some.
I noticed the guy with the pocket protector in the Atlanta Business Chronicle was really doing some cheering.
I want to send my best out to Greg McGarity, the new athletic director at the University of Georgia. Known Greg a long time as he takes over there. A good man. Tejada swung and missed, and then gave a look out at Johnny Venters like, where'd that thing come from?
Yeah, well, there's just been so many hitters this year that have done that. They swing and miss, and then look out like, where did that pitch go?
What's that 95 with Sink?
Yep.
Davis has a lead at first. Freeman playing right behind him. That ball grounded foul past third. Braves with 2 runs in the first and 2 runs in the second. And that's been all the scoring. Tommy Hanson, a solid start, 7 innings, 1 hit ball. And Johnny Venters on in relief. Off the glove of Venters. They're going to have one play. And what a play it was. Fonte bare hands to Freeman. Jerry Manuel would like to talk to Dan Iasonia about it.
Come on, Jerry. Called him out? Okay.
It just wanted to clarify.
I'm way over there in the third base dugout, and I wasn't quite sure.
That's a great play right there.
That was a tremendous play. Only chance he had was to barehand it. Good stretch by the 6'5" kid over there. I almost called him a freshman. Pretty close.
Davis advances to second. He's there with 2 down for Luis Hernandez. Freddie Freeman's going to need somebody to get on for him to get another at bat in the Atlanta half of the 8th in his major league debut. Hernandez overmatched there. 1-1.
95 running away from him. Hard to catch up.
A ball and 2 strikes with 2 out here in the 8th. Opposing hitters are 0 for 39 when they have a 1-2 count against Johnny.
Is that good?
that any good? Two and two. Right back up the middle and through. And the Mets are on the board here in the 8th. Hernandez hit it right back where it came from and scores Ike Davis from second.
Like Roger McDowell was asked to get on the phone to the bullpen because they don't want Venters throwing too many pitches here. He's thrown 18, and this one happened to be hit right in the right spot.
The former Brave Mike Hessman will pinch hit. Now a 3-run game and a guy with some power at the plate. Powder River with the first one, 95 miles an hour, and it's 0-1. Peter Moylan getting loose in the Atlanta pen. Johnny Venters trying to limit the damage here in the 8th. The Mets have scored for the first time tonight, 0-2. No reason to go anywhere else with this next one. Luis Hernandez edges away at first. Mike Hessman waiting on an 0-2.
Mike Hessman has a lot more at bats and time in the big leagues than J.C. Boscan, who was called up, that you were talking about earlier, Ernie, that got called up by the Braves. But Hessman's 32, has been a journeyman player through several organizations, including the Braves, and has hung in there long enough to get a look-see here with the Mets.
Venters struck him out to end the 8th. But the Mets get on the board. It's 4-1.
By the Home Depot, and tonight it comes from Isaac, who wants to know, during night games at Turner Field, do players eat dinner before or after the game? And the answer really, Isaac, is both. They might, after batting practice while the other team's hitting, change their clothes and have a snack before the game starts. But in terms of a big meal for Chris Van Zant and Ben Acree, they get that ready after the game and always have a nice spread for the guys after the game.
Defensive changes for the Mets. Joaquin Arias, who came over from the Texas Rangers in the Jeff Francoeur deal, now in left. Hisanori Takahashi is on the pitch for the Mets.
Now, Arias is an infielder. He's never played the outfield before.
Well, this should be an interesting half inning. He's even getting some direction out there from the infielders. Am I good here?
Yeah. Takahashi has kind of taken over as the closer for the Mets in the absence of Francisco Rodriguez, who has been placed on the suspended list for his actions in the family room after a game in New York, punching out his girlfriend's father.
Disturbing. And in the course of that, tore a ligament in his thumb. On the disqualified list, and it's an ugly situation. All in a strike to Martin Prado.
There might be some changes in the offing in New York before next season.
Yeah, more than a few. This guy has a couple of stops and starts in the midst of his windup.
Yeah, that's definitely not the Express. That's the commuter there. A couple of stops, as you said, on his way to the plate.
So he's been put in the closer role. They toyed with the idea of Bobby Parnell getting a shot. He did get a shot at a save, but it's been more of Takahashi in that role. Three-run lead for the Braves, and Billy Wagner getting loose in the Atlanta pen. Into right, but flagged down by Carter, one down. And out there in left field, Joaquin Arias says, okay, good, that's one.
Yeah. Any landmarks out here I can go by? One thing you can do, though, honestly, if you have very little or no experience, as the case with Joaquin Arias, is line up with the bases. If you're a left fielder, you might want to line up first and second base and try to stand in that general area, give you an idea of being somewhat straight away. And likewise, for a right fielder, line up second and third.
Brian McCann flied out to left into foul territory. Nice play by Lucas Duda in the first. He was hit by a pitch in the third, flied out to center in the fifth.
About that, New York's really good at giving people nicknames like K-Rod, A-Rod, J-Lo, etc. I'm thinking about Lucas Duda
and what?
Voodoo. Any possibilities there?
It's a possibility. They'll have some fun with that name.
Just call him Dude.
Tapped up towards first. And Ike Davis tries to make a friend, and nobody can handle that one. A payoff pitch to the Atlanta catcher. The Diamondbacks have beaten the San Diego Padres again.
That guy Enright, I haven't seen him pitch yet for Arizona, but he's 6-2. He beat Latos.
McCann draws a one-out walk here in the 8th. And here's Melky Cabrera. Yori Hernandez will run for McCann.
Home plate umpire just writing Yori's name, and he's got to keep the lineup straight, who comes and who goes. And Melky was giving him a little hand there.
Tim Timmons, the home plate umpire tonight.
There he is, right there. I'm sorry, that's written in Spanish, isn't it?
It's like Derek Lee has grabbed a bat to hit for Freddie Freeman in the on-deck circle.
Milky.
Just reached out and popped it behind second. Now you got to get back. And Hernandez did. But 2 down. So here is Derek Lee. So Freddie Freeman's major league debut goes 0 for 3, hit the ball hard twice. And now it's over. You can say you did it and you played. You didn't have to get up here and wait for your shot. Bobby threw him right in there.
As he always does.
That's a fair ball. And that's the 3rd out. Tim Timmons explaining the situation to Derek Lee, who never got out of the box. And Bobby wants a little clarification on this too.
this country.
Watch American Dad, September 25th on Peachtree TV.
Move to the ninth here at Turner Field. Derek Lee takes over at first base for Atlanta in the ninth. With Brian McCann lifted for a pinch runner, David Ross behind the plate. And Billy Wagner on to try and close it out for Atlanta. Make it 5 straight Braves wins.
It's his first save opportunity since August 20th at Chicago against the Cubs, when he nailed down his 30th.
2, 3, 4 hitters due for the Mets here in the ninth. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error for the Mets. 4-11-0 for the Braves. Wagner ahead 0-2. Tolley's 0 for 3. And he just did stay alive.
Mets only have 2 hits tonight. They had the double with 1 out in the 4th from David Wright, his first hit of the year at Turner Field, and then they had the 2-out hit from Luis Hernandez that rolled up the middle in the 8th. That's it.
To third. Martin Prado across to Lee, 1 down. Reminder to stay tuned after the game for the AT&T game summary. AT&T, rethink possible. Now here is David Wright, the owner of one of those 2 New York hits. He also grounded to short and was called out on strikes in the 7th. Wagner faces his former teammate here in Wright, who swings at the first pitch and flies to right. Jason Hayward, 2 down.
You know, if you're wondering about Tolley and why he was up there hitting against Billy Wagner, it's that the Mets, despite the fact that we're in September, they don't have a lot of bench help. Jose Reyes is unavailable to play. Angel Pagan has an injury, a sore wrist that's keeping him out. They've had to put Arias in left field. He's never played the outfield before. Very short-handed.
Their last hope is Chris Carter. The guy who wound up in New York from Boston in the trade for Billy Wagner. The 1-0.
And again, another lefty that has to stay in the game and hit because they got no other options, which is unusual this time of year when you can expand the rosters.
Wagner looking for his 31st save. He's 30 out of 37. And that missed. He's behind 3-0. Carlos Beltran waits on deck. In case you're wondering, the Mets 0-55 when they trail after 8 innings.
Braves have 23 last at bat wins. Mets are, what'd you say,
0-55. To center. And Teal's been busy. That's a good way to end it. His 9th put out of the game. And the Braves put away the Mets for the 3rd straight game. They are a season high 23 games over 500. Back to wrap it up after this.